I sort of mentioned this, and I'll put this little section at the beginning of the video because I'll be talking a lot, and with my accent and the pedaling uphill, it might be hard to understand what I'm saying. I recommend to turn the subtitles on. Most of my videos would have subtitles, and at least if you have no idea what I'm saying, you can just read the words at the bottom of your screen. Today I finally got a chance to ride with Julia. We're gonna go back to Thetis Lake and we're gonna see if we can ride all the way to the end, turn around at the gate, and maybe take some kind of different trails coming back. Not sure yet. We will figure this out as we go. I'm barely catching up with Julia. She's just racing ahead of me. I'm at my highest gear, pedaling like crazy, but I can't keep up with her. It is really cold today. It's wind, and it's just that piercing cold wind. I believe today is April. Oh. I actually had to stop the camera and look at the date today. Today is April 13th. The weather is around 7 degrees, but it's really cold wind. That is an issue. I have a sweater on. Julia is riding in her Gore-Tex. I think we're just gonna use the intersection. We're supposed to abide by the rules of the car. We'll stop here and let the cars go. It's a 4-way stop. And now we're gonna be climbing towards Thetis Lake Park. Julia is riding a cross-country bike. Maybe I'll tell you more about it when we get into the less windy forest. I'll see you all in a bit. I think I'm gonna cut across here. Cut across the parking lot. And maybe I can catch up to Julia this way. I don't think the park will be very busy today because it's cold. Today at work I had a pie and ice cream because we have one of the co-workers leaving us. They're moving to Calgary, and as a goodbye we had a little get together. Somebody made some pies, blueberry pie, and I think I ate too much, so this is a good way to burn some calories. And there we cut up with Julia. I have this big hill coming up. There we go. I managed to pass Julia, but probably not full on. This trail goes along the highway and a little noisy, but the views are not bad. Check it out. Last time I was here, the footage of GoPro got glitched and I lost this section. So we can record it this time. Well, I'm no longer cold. My hands are cold a little bit. So we have about 10 kilometers of climbing to do to the end of the park. Up and down, but mostly up. As I mentioned, Julia is riding a cross-country bike. She has, I think it's 120 millimeter on the front suspension and about the same on the back. Her bike is a pretty S-Works. I'm running 100 millimeter on the front and 100 millimeter on the back, so quite a bit softer bike, but mine is enduro and hers is cross country. It's an actually interesting story of how she got that bike, and maybe I can tell you about it today. And I'm gonna say the story how you got your bike. Kind of remember, you can help me with this.
Yeah.
Yes, Julia's suspension is RockShox Judy. I was thinking it's Yari, but it's Judy. She's got a carbon frame. It's a beautiful 2017 S-Works carbon. She's got carbon wheels. She's got a 12 speed drivetrain from SRAM, 4-piston hydraulic brakes from Shimano, a dropper post, and all of that is a cross-country bike. And her story is actually very interesting. When I got into biking, I was used to riding this the Costco bike around, and I really enjoyed it. So my co-worker suggested I get a cross-country bike, which I got. It was an older Norco Phase 2 from 2010, 26-inch wheels. It had tubes, but I kind of jerry-rigged it. It's called Ghetto Tubeless. Used some Gorilla Tape to turn them into tubeless, and I used that bike everywhere. I was having a lot of fun, learning to ride trails. And Julia started joining me on some of those rides. So she would take the bike I used, the Costco bike, with me on the rides, but of course it was not a very good bike. Always had problems. It had disc brakes, but they were cable brakes, not the hydraulic brakes. And your gearing would get stuck. The shifting is not that great. She had the fenders, and actually one of the fenders fell off on one of the trails. But in any case, she wanted a better bike. We wanted to get her a better bike. And we ended up buying, just looking through, I can't remember if it was newspaper or Facebook, but we ended up, I kept on looking, and I found this S-Works, a carbon frame S-Works, 2010, an old one, and it was quite reasonably priced. At that time COVID was just starting, so bikes were still at the regular prices. Not like in COVID, the prices went through the roof, but it was still a reasonably priced bike. It had hydraulic brakes. I can't remember how many gears it had. I think it had 9. So we bought this bike. It had a shock problem on the back. like it was very soft, so I think it just needed some air. But S-Works introduced at that time, they've introduced Warriors Shock, oh yeah, was specialized forks, like a joint venture shock that they have installed on this bike, and it definitely needed service because we did pump it up, but it still didn't work properly. So we took it to the service, to the bike shop, and then eventually the guys at the bike shop said, well, this shock cannot be serviced here, we have to send it to Specialized, to the factory, which we said, yes, that's fine, do that. And then the time goes by. How long did it go by before they replied? 3 months go by, and the guys from the bike shop call us and they say, oh, we're really sorry, but this shock, they no longer manufacture it. Let me get up on this hill first. I can't talk and bike. So we go, well, what do we do now? And the guys, they say, well, let us talk to Specialized a little more, so see what they can do for you. Then some more time goes by, and we go in the shop to find out, to check on what's happening. And the guy said, oh yeah, you got really lucky. Specialized decided to replace the whole frame with the brand new shock on it, free of charge. But then when finally shop receives the frame, all bike shops saying, well, nothing from your old bike can go on this new bike because nothing's compatible. The new frame is for 29-inch wheels. The drivetrain is obviously outdated. They could replace the seat, the brakes, and that's about it. So Julia's going, well, what about the wheels? I mean, we need 2 wheels at least. So the bike shop went back to Specialized, and Specialized eventually agreed to send matching carbon wheels for the bike, which is like crazy expensive, obviously. So in the end, when everything's arrived, we usually had to pay to buy a new drivetrain, new pedal cranks and stuff like that. And in the end, the bike shop put it together. This is how Julia got her bike, and eventually she put in a dropper post in it. And just recently she upgraded from her old 2010 hydraulic 2-piston brakes that were basically going. She got a top of the line, or maybe not top of the line, but are really good Shimano 4-piston, and this is how she got her nice cross-country bike. And of course the bike was blue, so she had to get blue everything. She's got blue shorts, blue jerseys, blue jacket, everything had to match the bike. I ended up wanting to sell my cross-country bike that Norco Phase had, and I wanted to upgrade to something more mountainy because I wanted to go downhill and I wanted to go to bike park and I wanted to do really challenging trails. So I got lucky and I got this bike from one of the biking buddies I met. He was upgrading his bike to Evil, and I think it's Evil Offering that he's got, and I asked him if he was gonna sell his, so I bought this. This is a Norco Sight Carbon C7.2, and it's got a coil suspension on the back, which I actually enjoy immensely. But then I find out that riding enduro bike on just regular trails or like in town is not really practical. I was looking for something that I can ride gravel and the city asphalt and maybe some single track, easy ones. Then I discovered that I think I'm ready for drop bars. So just recently I picked up a Norco Surge gravel bike, and Julie just recently also got Dr. Dew from Kona, which is kind of like a hybrid because it's like a gravel but it has flat bars. So Kona does not want to call it gravel bike, but it has a mountain bike and 12-speed drivetrain. But that's discussion for another video. We are approaching Bellamy Trail. Bellamy Trail, I did last video a week ago on Bellamy Trail, but I was all by myself. Well, there is that rock roll just up ahead. I am going to ride it. I always do. I don't think I ever skipped it. First time I did this rock roll, it was really scary. But of course, more and more you ride something, it gets easier and easier. Yeah, Julia haven't been on a mountain bike since she got her Dr. Dew. I think this is first time. And how long you been out? There's something you don't see very often, is the backhoe on these trails. Looks like they've been at it for well, more than a week. Ah, it's missing a tire. It's pretty funny. It's missing a tire. I hope nobody stole it. Victoria is not what it used to be. Wouldn't be surprised if the backhoe tire go missing. I mean, you can't leave the bike here, even locked up downtown. They'll grind that lock off and take your bike in a minute. Last summer, I think it was June, Julie and I, we went to, we've got this little cabin, not the cabin, I don't know what even call this, on a llama farm. A little Airbnb, like a little shack. It didn't have running water or fridge or stove. It was a barbecue outside, and we wanted to go for a bike ride, so we went to Salt Spring Island, and then from Salt Spring Island we went to Crofton and that little cabin on llama farm in Cabochon. And we were doing that in a heat wave, and I think we were had around 36 degrees by the time we showed up. We kind of had to have a sponge bath with a little bucket just to cool off, but we liked it so much that we're gonna be doing another trip coming up. Our plan is to ride from here on the Great Canada Trail to Lake Cabochon. We're gonna try and stay the night in a tent. This is something very new to me. And then the next day we're gonna head from Lake Cabochon to Duncan, to Crofton, to Salt Spring Island, and camp the second night on Salt Spring Island. And then the next day we're gonna pedal home. A 3-day adventure. I'm sure we're gonna have a video about that. I don't know if it's me, but every time I go biking, mountain biking, somehow the sun comes out. The wind, of course, disappears as soon as you get into the forest, but the sun comes out. I mean, look how beautiful it is. It doesn't matter if you have carbon wheels or stainless steel. Once you're riding through all that mud, they all become very heavy. I'll let Juliet go up ahead with the struggles. Julia has 29-inch wheels, mine are 27.5. I see a little tiny stick sticking out of the derailleur. This is one of the tougher hills. And here we go. I always keep on pressing that extra gear that I don't have. My bike is older and have 11 gears instead of 12. So when I climb, I always try to downshift to lower gear. A bit of a downhill before we go uphill again. Oh, I can see mud flying off my tires. And again, I'm trying to see if I have another gear. So we're at the fork, and last time I went up this way towards Cave Hill. This time we're gonna continue straight to the end of the park.
Let me get big off since he asked me to wait.
And we're taking a little break. Well, there you go, say hello.
Hello.
To future you. That hill is definitely
Better.
a lot more rideable now.
Yeah.
This chest harness is very good. It's a setup for when you're riding, but when you're just sitting upright on the bike, it kind of points into the sky. We're just gonna follow the trail to the very end of the park. So we got quite a bit of more uphills. I'll save some time and power off for now. All right, I shall attempt, but I'm going real slow. Okay, well, let's wait for Julia a little bit. This forest is absolutely beautiful. The sun is out. Today is Wednesday, April 13th. We have a coming up Good Friday. It is Easter weekend and the forecast is horrible. At least right now. Forecast changes every hour this time of year. And we can see anywhere from snow and hail and thunder to beautiful sun and beach weather. Oh yeah, let's take in the view a little bit. Mountain biking paradise. Here's the power lines. And there we have it. Transmission that goes into a substation that's just on the other side of Cave Hill. We're almost at the end of the at least this section, which comes out to Stewart Mountain Road. It's like a residential street that ends into a trail that is called Mount Work Connector. Mount Work Connector. Well, actually, let's go to Mount Work Connector first, and then we'll talk about it. But first, we go uphill. Julia got me this hydration bag for my birthday. It's got a little water bladder, and I was worried about it being big, but now I'm happy because I can put my sweater and maybe Julia's jacket in there. What is called the Mount Work Connector. This little, well, I shouldn't say little, this trail connects Thetis Lake Park to Mount Work Park. It's a narrow right away, basically just for this trail to get to Mount Work Park. And of course it's all uphill. And this is a long hill too. And we just sent Mike, and I met Mike the other day on the trails. I noticed the more you ride, the more people you meet, the more people you know. So we're not doing anything special today, we're just gonna like a virtual tour of Thetis. It's like never-ending hill. As they say, you don't own fitness, you just borrow it. As soon as you stop doing this, you lose it real fast. I ride year round, but I can't imagine people who stop riding in the fall and then starting again in springtime. Must be hard to get back into that shape. So here's the park. This is the Thetis Lake, and this is the Mount Work Connector. This is the power lines. So now we're here, and we have an option of doing the loop around Davis Road and come back through Mount Work Connector, or going down the connector to the end and come back the same way. It dips down right here, so it will be like downhill, but then it's a climb. So no matter which way you go, and you're going to be climbing. The other option is shoot down this way. It is not shown here, but there is a little trail that goes like this, and it comes out somewhere in here. Hopefully it's downhill from here, no? One way to find out, I guess. Yoo-hoo! Downhill is nice. This is what it's all about. Whoa. Downhill is what we live for. Well, sideways. Make sure Julia makes it okay. Now just go right through the middle. And yup. Oh! Downhill is all it's all about. Duck. Oh, it's beautiful. We got some more downhill coming up, and I think I see Man Road up ahead. This is Man Road. I will show this dot on the map when we come back and I edit this video. but was very fun. I never knew this trail here because, as you can see, you can barely see this trail coming in. This comes Julia. Nice and easy. She's like, it's
What the hell?
that tree is so low. Oh, I was just like, yeah.
Sorry, that was fun.
That was fun. We're on Man Road, and a couple of 100 meters that way should be the trail that's heading back into the Thetis Lake Park. On the left hand side, that's Mount Work Park, and on the right hand side, basically Thetis Lake Park, through a little right away. It's amazing that from our house we can go through the green zone, through the park, through little right-of-ways, basically on a single track or double track trail for about 20 kilometers, and we live in town. This is absolutely amazing. What a beautiful place we live in. There is the sign for Mount Work Regional Park that's just coming up, heading left, and we will be heading right. So this is very sneaky entrance here that is hard to see. Oh, I gotta put my seat down. There we go. It's kind of a weird entrance because it looks like we're entering through somebody's front yard. But it's actually a right away for the park. You can see there's a house here, and then there's a house over there, and this little strip of land is the right away for the park. So this trail, I think this trail is called Kali's Corner, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check, but I will show it on the screen. And of course it's uphill. It doesn't matter which way you go, it's uphill. I'm suspecting our elevation gain today will be around 600 meters, maybe more, uphill before we start going down. I've been on this trail before, once or twice, but not very often, because it is kind of far. Let's put it this way, it is not far enough when you're doing weekend rides, because you just want to go to like Mount Zuhalim or Harbor View, like a bigger bike parks, bike specific trails. And to do this little loop after work, it's a little, yeah, it takes a little too long. Julia is right behind me, she doesn't want to be in front. I kept on offering, but she keeps on letting me go by. Julia likes it when I do references to her. Woohoo! Downhill we go! Let's see how fun is this. Woo! So we'll jump. Oh, my bag is sliding down. Oh, nice little kicker. Downhills are nice. You just fly right down and hope there is nobody up ahead. Okay, I got a pipe. Oh, going back is always fun because it's mostly downhill. You have a little bit of uphills now and then. And Julia is actually right behind me. We'll be going mostly downhill, so it's all good. There will be a fairly big uphill, I believe, up ahead. But we can enjoy the downhill for now. It's good to see Julia picking up some speed. She's usually a very careful rider, but she's been gaining a lot of confidence. Whoa. And there comes the uphill. On the mountain bike, even if when you go down, it's still hard work because you're always balancing, pulling on the handlebars, pedaling a little bit, or going through the stupid little creeks. And now we're going uphill again. Oh, the trail is right here. I lost it for a minute. Down, down. Whoa. Cullis Corner is a blue trail, which means moderate difficulty. Our favorite kind of trails. Don't want to go fast through all of this water. Let's take the high road. Woohoo! I just heard the crunch behind me. Julia, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. You just called me cranky?
No, I just said I heard the crunch behind me.
Oh, no, it's actually caught my heel.
Right. Just up ahead is the gate that we were looking at when we went around. So we're completing our loop around that the Davis Road, Davis Street it is. Frank's Trail. So when we get there, I'll probably turn the camera off because we will be coming back onto the same trails. And this was a virtual tour of the whole Thetis Lake Park. Of course, there's got a lot of more trails in here, but the main trail is the Bellamy Trail that we just did from beginning to the very end. And we're back at the gate. It is actually chilly going downhill. Well, yeah. All that climbing we've been doing It just takes a minute to get all the way down. That's what mountain biking is. Up into the mountain and then it's downhill. That's the adrenaline that we live for. Not on these roads, but in general.